For my informational speech, I will be talking to you about the art of embalming. I chose this topic because I'm going into mortuary science, and I find it that I should probably know something about the process if I'm going into it. Throughout my speech, you will hear many things, such as how the first process was done, what's different, modern day mortuary, and the easiest part and the hardest part, and all of that cool stuff. If you have any questions, wait till the end so I can give you full detail. Thank you. The first embalming process happened in ancient Europe, ancient Egypt. I'm going to get that wrong every time. People went through a process in which their brain was removed from their skull and resin was put in instead. They would remove their organs and mix them with resin and spices. Then they were returned to the body or put in several cases. After the extraction of the organs, the body was immersed in sodium salt bath for 20 to 70 days. Could you imagine the smell of that? Completely disgusting. Can't imagine. When the immersion was complete, they would lay the bodies straight out and dehydrate them in sun until the body was completely dehydrated and like sticky and nasty and gross. And then they would, do what mummies do and wrap them in 1,200 yards of gauze. That's a lot of gauze. But that's only for the rich. The poor didn't really get that kind of treatment. They were, their brains weren't extracted and their organs weren't filled with resin and all that spices and all the cool stuff. Kind of just took your brain out and did other junk, but nothing quite to the extreme. How embalming has changed. Well, we don't remove your brains anymore and we don't soak you in sodium, but we do do other sorts of stuff. It's been amazing, the progress we've made. We've learned how to keep the body from decaying fast and how to make it look like, we're still alive, but just sleeping. Today's process, my goodness, that word did not want to come out of my mouth, according to Everplans, starts with washing the body. The limbs and joints are massaged to manipulate them from rigor mortis, which makes your limbs hard and stiff and you can't move. And then, we put on normal makeup and make you not look pale and disgusting. And then, before that, we glue your eyelids shut and put a cap in there so they don't sink in. And then we do this thing where we put a cable through the top jaw and the bottom jaw and twist it to keep the jaw closed, and then we'll glue your lips together. And then we'll remove any facial hair unless, you had a beard, because obviously we're not going to shave your face if that's what you had. Then once you're finished rinsing the body and all that kind of stuff, you will, cut all their arteries open and drain the blood and put embalming fluid in. The embalming solution is made up of multiple different things: formaldehyde, methanol, ethanol, phenthol, and water, and also some kind of dyes that make your skin look more lively and less pale or blue or purple. And then once the drain is blood and you've put the embalming fluid in, they'll cut an incision from your belly button down and puncture all your organs, so all the gas and everything is released. Once that process is done, the embalming process is completed, which I think is super cool. I don't know about you guys, you might think it's gross, but I think it's oddly fascinating that you can go through all that and the body will stay more preserved. And if you ever dig them up, they're not as decayed as most others. I couldn't find anything on the internet about when the perfect time is to embalm a body, so I reached out to our local funeral director, and he told me the fresher the better. You can always embalm a body, but it's preferred if your veins aren't decayed and, ruptured from lack of being alive. With that being said, the hardest part of embalming is making sure you set the eyes correctly. People look at that kind of stuff. If the eyes are too bulgy, they're going to look like a Boston Terrier, and on a human, that's not cute. And if you do it wrong and the eyes are sunken in, well, then they look dead, and not people, like in America, most people don't want to see that. So with that, there's only a select few things you can do to do that, and I really don't know the process and how you get the eyes to set correctly because I've never done it, but I heard it takes a lot of practice, and if you mess up, there's absolutely nothing you can do to fix it. There's only a select few who can handle such a task, and I hope that I can be one of them. I have always been fascinated with the thought of death, and what better way to learn about it than to work with it. I've explained to you how the first process was done, how things have changed, the process in modern mortuary, and when is the perfect time to embalm in the hardest part of the embalming process. If you have any questions at this point, please ask, and I'll try to answer with my best ability. Thank you for listening to The Art of Embalming.